in Abuja. On and on and on and on. It was a very, very loud outcry. A lot of people have complained that these cases that made so much news back then have inconspicuously gone quiet. Now, it is understood that judges are meant to be incorruptible. Judges are not swayed by any form or any means of subverting any individual or group or organization, subverting their eventual decisions, even though there have also been glaring cases where behind the scene politicking as regards to certain cases have involved people attempting to bribe judges. Now, these are just a list of judges that were accused by the DSS of being culpable of receiving bribes of various denominations from various individuals to help with judgments in certain cases of a political nature. And this alone has shed such a light on the operations, the inner work of the judiciary, hence the report. Now, it's all well and good that, yes, indeed, the NJC had replied that it's not all judges that are culpable of bribery allegations, but then would they allow for a holistic audit of every single member of the National Judicial Council to truly ascertain if there is no iota of truth to the report being brought, which was brought to the fore by the National Bureau of Statistics? But to also mention as an aside, while speaking at a workshop on sections 306 and 396 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, ACJA of 2015, and delay of corruption cases, Vice President Yemi Osibanjo, who was represented by Professor Itse Sagean, lamented the low conviction rate in high-profile corruption cases in Nigeria since the inception of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, in 2002. Now, of the 8 cases, one was overturned by the Supreme Court on technical grounds, which implies that only 7 major convictions have been secured after trial in 13 years. We also a legal luminary, Olawale Fokmunda, who has a long and impressive resume of leading reforms within the justice sector, recently giving his views on the state of the judiciary and administration of justice in Nigeria, which included policing, penal reform, human rights, and the much-discussed presidential investigation panel to review compliance of the armed forces with human rights obligations and rules of engagement. Now, he was asked of the great expectations for the justice sector at the inception of the present administration, and he was also asked that 2 years into the administration, had those expectations been met? And he said, in many persons in the administration, we saw justice sector reform champions with sufficient subject matter appreciation to deliver on the commitments on delivering a justice system that works in the interest of Nigerians. We were overconfident that if there was one sector that would speedily feel the wind of change, that sector would be the justice sector. But all he was going to eventually say on that was that today we are much calmer and realistic about our expectations. He also went on to say that the 1999 Constitution does not provide for the office of an acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, either temporarily or endlessly. So, and it's not a favor done to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, CGN, but a contribution to the wider discussions on the need to strengthen the judiciary. We should keep reminding ourselves that the judiciary is not a department within government. It is an equal arm of government. We should not expect an independent judiciary if we place legal and psychological obstacles in the way of such independence. Anyway, of course, he went on to say the desire to sustain our democracy prevails. Now, I would also like to say in the course of that advocacy that it shouldn't be business as usual in the administration of the judiciary.
And that was the business update on Premium Talk Station.
Went on to say that it is not a Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, but a Chief Justice of Nigeria. That means that the Chief Justice should provide leadership and direction, not only for the judiciary, but also for the administration of justice.
Stay tuned. Today's hustle continues with Eric Baroni.
So the questions to be asked within the National Judicial Council, and according to the NJC themselves, in reply to the report of the National Bureau of Statistics, indeed, there are some within their ranks who, whether prior or recently or sometime past, have been investigated and have had dubious, have had allegations of bribery flung their way. Now, some of those individuals who were being investigated by the DSS, whose homes were besieged and amounts of money were recovered from their residence, they have been reinstated within the NJC. Some feel this should not be the case. Some feel, for the very fact that you're on an average, your judicial official, whether it's a magistrate, whether it's a judge, should be incorruptible, should not be swayed by either monetary incentives other than what he receives as a paycheck for a job well done, or anything, cash or gifts in kind. But then you have these sets of judges going through having these amounts of money recovered, monies that they could not account for and was not part of their basic annual salaries they receive as in positions of being judicial officers of the Nigerian courts, threw a very, very bad light on the NJC. The mere fact that some of them were reinstated, or indeed most of those cases seem to have been swept under the rug, is worrisome. But now with the NJC claiming that yes, we might have some bad eggs, but that doesn't mean the Nigerian judiciary is corrupt, or of course is known or could be the second highest bribe-taking institution, asserting that that was just speculative on behalf of the agencies that brought out this report. What does that bode for Nigeria's judicial system? We hear cases being lost in court, cases where all the proof, cases where all the investigations have revealed that indeed there were some suspicious shenanigans undertaken, but due to either insufficient investigations, improper process by the investigating bodies, especially the EFCC or the police or the DSS, as the case may be. But no one has ever thought, could it also be that at some point in time, the cases themselves have been compromised because the judges may have been compromised? Instead of just faulting the lack of conviction of high-profile cases in Nigeria to the DSS or the EFCC not doing their job properly, why has that not also been taken into consideration? Because after all, they would say that the judge is human. And of course, it was cited by the legal secretary, Adewale Fokunhua, stating that judges need to be well taken care of. Judges should, okay, he goes on to say that certainly money or lack of it plays a role. For example, a judiciary that goes cap in hand to the executive to beg for money for its every need is not likely to inspire citizens' confidence. We also need to revisit the conditions of service of judicial officers, finding it disingenuous to say that persons who are not able to survive on a judge's salary should not aspire to go to the bench. I think an appropriate conversation should be around examining the adequacy of the take-home pay and benefits of judges. Judicial salaries, pensions and benefits should be reviewed frequently. He did suggest in one of his write-ups that consideration should be given to the establishment of an independent judicial benefits and compensation commission by the president in consultation with state governors. Now, the mandate of this commission would be to undertake a comprehensive review of salaries, allowances, and benefits of all judicial officers in Nigeria, including lower court judges. The commission should be required to submit a report with its recommendations to the National Council of States for deliberation and possible implementation. So, by what the legal luminary has, is it that the judges in Nigeria, both the